I would put them in this way, right? I would say the AI is replacing the worst part of an SDR job. There are people who are saying AI SDR already outperform, which will outperform the humans.
Sri,
What is
let's
wrong
be
with
honest
that?
over here. How many companies that you know has kicked out the humans from the seat and replaced these SDRs with AI? But I don't think it has replaced and ever will. It's a sexy term to have an AI SDR, but I don't think it will ever replace the human.
A lot of these SDRs come from different combinations. Some of them are heavy on research, some of them, and not many have chosen SDR as a role of choice, maybe of their choice.
And when I say what it's like, I say 10 ways you can replace your existing. That's the worst thing you can ever tell an SDR, right? You cannot replace the actual industry. The stack doesn't matter.
So do you think the leaders are buying tools before even understanding the actual?
Yeah,
actual
leaders need to
right?
ride the AI wave.
Hi Ramesh, morning.
Hi Sri, good morning and welcome to everyone at our podcast Outbound by Highperformr. What do we have today, Sri?
Very interesting topic, Ramesh. I want to, but before we go there, let's talk about, like how is the Chennai summer kicking in? Do you think it's officially started, or you're still waiting to declare it?
No, summer is actually started. We cannot afford to be in denial anymore.
Okay.
It is already beyond summer, I feel. The moment you step out, I just thought I'm usually an early riser. I'm in the 5 a.m. club.
Okay.
5 a.m. already seems too late to start my walk or run.
Okay.
You're just I'm completely wet, completely sweaty, and I couldn't even hold on for an hour.
Okay.
So summer has officially started, Sri.
Yeah, it's heating up, and I think Ramesh, today's topic is going to be very interesting, right? Because I've been watching this, I've been observing this. Whenever I basically open LinkedIn or Twitter, I always see whenever there's a new update from Claude or OpenAI or you name it, right?
World goes berserk.
The first thing says that I'm going to replace my entire GTM
everything replaced.
I'm going to replace my SDR AE. So then I thought,
the office staff is going to replace. The janitors are going to be replaced.
The entire, meaning every time there's an update, there is this Claude work, there's an update, this happens. Every time there's an update, there is this happening, right? Where I was just thinking, what would be the mindset of a real SDR today, right? I want to just talk through that because you've been going through this.
I thought I would ask you the question about product. Is everything changing in the product? But you caught me this time. Talking about sales, SDR. I'll do that the next time.
Because my answer would be very easy. Yeah, I'll say yes and then move on. With your case, it's very different, right? Because here, every time there's an update, there's going to be so many more coming in. There's a lot more coming away, right? And I would just want to take a step back and kind of understand, let's also be very brutal, right? I think a lot of SDRs feel like they're working all day long, right? That's what they feel because they're trying to go after, and somehow, they actually doing very less selling, right? And on top of it, there's AI. There's always the popular statement being made saying that, hey, some of these workflows or some of the people would be replaced. Kind of understand what you think, what is happening, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the SDRs today, even before AI came in, are they basically only doing manual things?
SDRs.
I think less of selling.
Yeah, a new seller was always vulnerable, right?
Okay.
A new seller into any organization is already vulnerable.
Okay.
People start judging him or her. Hey, is this person hardworking?
Okay.
Is he speaking our language? Has he learned our product?
Okay.
Is he able to, talk as well? Would he be compared to his peers, one of the best performing? Because as founders, we're always thinking that we've got the next best SDR on board.
Okay.
And then you immediately start comparing. The sales guys are always under pressure.
Okay.
Right? Right from day one, because you've already given them a pedestal and it's clock ticking revenue.
Okay.
The revenue clock or whatever that you call it. Now, this has always been the case. So you give them about 90 days of RAM, right? And you're constantly judging them more so than someone in the tech team.
Okay.
Right? They have a longer way.
Yeah.
And so they're already under the pump.
Okay.
And second, I think AI has made this really tough for them as well.
Okay.
Because they are now, their past skills which which they've acquired, let's say in their last job, and then when they take up a new SDR role in another company which is very AI first, the first response that the GTM engineer gives is, hey, we've already taken care of that. You don't need to do it. Who's taken care? The AI has taken care of it, right? So it's a psyche thing where it's very hard for them to kind of come to terms, and in their mind they would be like, hey, it's fine you're using AI, but I bring so much more to the table, and you're not even respecting that, right? So it becomes heavy for them.
But Ramesh, if we just take a step back, before we go in and deeper into AI impact and all of that, I just want to take a little bit of a grounding question, right? Fundamentally, based on what you've seen, not just within our setup, of course, you would claim our setup is more efficient in AI and all of that, but in general, you've been interacting with a lot of customers, a lot of SDRs.
Yep.
What do you think? Do you think today, even before the AI is coming in, do you think the SDRs are spending a lot of their time on
I was just coming to that.
Which are non-selling?
I was just coming to that, Sri, right? The SDRs are now judged upon how precision find their pitches. Earlier, they could just do away with the regular pitch and whatever has worked with them in the past. But given AI and all of that, they have to now be, the pitch has to be precision perfect. Right? So that's one big baggage in their mind, right? Because your GTM engineer has configured it in such a way that every deal that is into your HubSpot or any CRM, the expectation is they should know what the prospect is doing, right? Because hey, our AI has already fed you with that information, right?
So that's their challenge.
That's a big challenge, right? Usually, what they would do is spend a lot of time trying to uncover what they do, who's the right person. They would do this manually. You've cut that short. You're giving AI a chance to go and fill that gap with them, but that doesn't end of it. Now for them, hey, AI has already given me this, but when I'm talking to 15 prospects a day, am I speaking the right pitch? And that could be really unnerving on them. That could be a lot more.
So what you're saying is that as a result of this pressure, and as a result of this, either you might have a so-called GTM engineer in your own setup, right? Versus anything else, you think the SDRs and AI are deliberately doing a lot more research than actual selling?
Oh yes, they are. Actually, there is very less selling that happens because they are expected to prepare well, they're expected to know the company, they're expected to kind of know the numbers at the back of their head, they're supposed to know, hey, what's the right product that needs to be pitched, because the expectation is you already have a lot of background information about
so as a result, you think they deliberately go into a lot more detailing, a lot more understanding
when it's probably not even necessary.
Not even required. So then in that case, then the next question is, right, so then the larger question really is that, hey, what do you think SDRs think AI is replacing? And what do you actually see being replaced?
So that's the reality check, right? Only about 40%, there's a report which says only about 40% of the SDRs are actually selling. Right? The others, and that's crazy given you are expected to keep selling 100% every time. So about their day, in some sense, when we do a kind of time study, there's just about 3 hours of selling. There's about 2 hours on admin, because you want to ensure that your CRM has everything updated, because the GTM engineer then has to connect a cloud to it and ensure that you have all the right insights to show their dashboard. Very less on research, because most of that is done. That's about 1.5 years. And 1 hour spent in meetings that have already been scheduled. Right? And less than an hour just by switching tools. So if you think about it, Sri, if you do this productivity study, despite the onslaught of so many AI,
everything else,
and the wave hitting them, the time to sell has not gone up increasingly, right? So because the manager, the CIO, whoever, hey, that's already been done for you. Why are you wasting time?
So what you're seeing replaced is like a lot of manual research, enrichment, list building, all of that. I would put them in this way, right? I would say the AI is replacing the worst part of an SDR job.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is right, because
that's the way you should look at it.
I am sure in the 12 months of selling of the team that we have, truth be told, we are hitting just 70% of the quota on an average.
Okay.
There could be a few of them who are hitting the quota, but that's not gone up. And even prior to the AI world, I don't think it was greater than 70% either. Right? So what is AI actually doing here?
Correct. So that's the reason, Ramesh, I think we keep saying this, right? See, we have told this multiple times as well. AI isn't replacing the SDR role.
Yeah.
Right? But it's definitely killing that lazy manual version of it, if I could say that. Right? What do you think? Do you think that's the right way of looking at it?
I think that's the right way. It's for the SDRs to take it upon themselves to look at it this way.
Okay.
Right? If you have to be a high performer SDR, then hey, what does it take to be one? I think it's about hitting the numbers, right? So stop wasting time on things that you have an overall idea of about. Like the research is done, so be it, right? Don't go through that again. You still need to hit the numbers on calls, on follow-ups, on the emails, and that activity is the most important piece, which I don't think AI can actually ever replace.
So then Ramesh, the harder part in that case, let's get to that, right? So if you look at it, there are people who are saying AI SDR already outperform, which will outperform the humans, right? So
Sri, let's be honest over here. How many companies that has kicked out the humans from the seat and replaced these SDRs with AI?
No, I think AI SDR. I mean, I'm of the very strong belief that AI isn't going to kill the BDR role at all. I mean, there is definitely a strong reason for why they would be. But like I said, it's definitely going to kill the manual or the lazy, the versions of that.
It certainly has, right? I think before the marketing and the sales, there used to be this LDR or lead development representative who was part of the sales team. That has definitely been eliminated. Right? Because you're now able to disqualify the wrong leads, and that was a big challenge always. Much faster than you did. It's been able to, send that lead to the salesperson much faster. Usually there has been a lag, and all of that operationally, those things have been done. But I don't think it has replaced and ever will. It's a sexy term to have an AI SDR, but I don't think it will ever replace the human who has to do 10 more things other than just the first call.
So if I have to just reword that, what you're saying is that what people conceive is mostly because it's the manual SDR versus the AI assisted SDR. Can I put it that way?
Absolutely.
Okay. So so what you're saying is that SDR, like it's not like what you perceive everywhere, what you see all through that. It's like people who are manually doing everything. SDR who's been only manual, they spend 60-70% or plus or minus of the time doing manual research, everything. But what you're saying, an AI assisted SDR, right, is basically the one who maybe acts on speed, has the scale, maybe has the efficiency on the side.
Absolutely. And why should they even cut out some of the best parts of what the job is? Like even in updating a deal. Why should AI do it?
So in that case, Ramesh, let's get to the other question. Interesting. Now that you're saying that, hey, there is the clarity, at least I'm getting, is that there is a manual SDR versus an AI assisted.
Absolutely.
SDR.
Yes.
Now, what part of SDR's day should absolutely be automated now, based on what you have seen?
I think to have a tool, in this case like Highperformr, is an added advantage to the SDR. Right? Where what it really helps do is, like, let's say, what we've seen really win at Highperformr is SDRs when they connect with someone and then there is a meeting set, right? A tool like Highperformr is able to send an email to them post the call and say, hey, this is what we discussed, and even slap on a few example leads free for them so they get an understanding of what they're getting into. That actually is an amazing part of it. Right? You cannot do that in a normal world. It's very hard, right?
So, Ramesh, you're putting in a very interesting, right? So, what you're saying is that, of course, AI can write very good emails, but if I'm an SDR, if I let AI write my emails, right? Which is great, but if it replaces my thinking, what will happen?
It's
trouble, right?
It's disaster. It is going to be a disaster over there.
So, what you're saying is that you basically are saying that keep it as an assistant. Maybe SDRs are the...
That's it. That's a very lovely word, right? AI SDR is an SDR's assistant, not a replacement.
Which means that, you let the AI do the account research, maybe CRM hygiene,
Correct.
a lot of other things, right?
Yeah,
Which I would do manually. And then I focus on my thinking, my approach. Excellent.
So now the boring parts of the SDR.
So now, which part of the human behavior, is more valuable now with the AI coming in? So like for example, now
the conversation.
You've been dealing with SDRs. Now you've been dealing with AI as well. Now based on this understanding what you've gotten, right? What do you think? Which part of the human behavior is now become even more important?
I think the ability to converse, the ability to have a conversation and enjoy the conversation. Since you went on a more move from logic to a more psychological way, I think the SDR has to enjoy a conversation. Right? The SDR has to be able to have a business mindset of, since if the research is done really well, you should be able to navigate and talk a few things about the business. Because you already have that instance. So the SDR now spends time on actually reading through the research on how you can have a good conversation with the prospect.
So in a way, Ramesh, you're also making the SDR a very specialist role now.
Oh yes,
right? Because you've been talking to few hundreds of SDRs, right? A lot of these SDRs come from different combinations. Right? Some of them are heavy on research, some of them, and not many have chosen SDR as a role of choice, maybe of their choice. So now what you're saying is that you're saying that the role itself is that you should have the person enjoy having the conversation with the customer,
and it's possible because if AI can tell you how this company makes money, if your assistant SDR assistant tells you, hey, what you can actually talk about them, if it actually tells you, hey, what they have spoken about on public forums and bring that into it, right? These are the nuggets that make a conversation a lot more interesting, and I think that's what SDR should focus on, rather than say, I got to get this meeting, right? It's pressurizing from them, and I think that is an area which AI SDRs have definitely.
So if you just take a step back, Ramesh, and look at it, what you're saying, I have an assistant, right?
Assistant,
which does a lot of my manual, mundane task I used to do every day. It might even write a good email, follow-up emails for me.
And it's perfectly fine, guys.
Which is fine, right? Now you have a draft, like what you do for your teams. You have a draft ready whenever I finish a meeting. Let's assume that I finish a meeting, I have a follow-up email coming in, I have it in the draft. What you're saying is that you want me to apply myself thinking about the draft and send it out. But the next conversation, what you're saying is that as a human, you wanted me to participate, make it very heavy on the product. So which is interesting, right? Which is not the way a lot of people are perceiving. If you go to LinkedIn, you go to Twitter, it's like, hey, I'm replacing the whole GTM.
Oh yes,
right.
That's another point, Sri. Right? I think when you talk about what's going on the on LinkedIn and X, it's very stacky. And when I say what is stacky, I say 10 ways you can replace your existing. That's the worst thing you can ever tell an SDR, right? You cannot replace the actual industry. The stack doesn't matter.
So do you think that's like misleading in that case?
It is very misleading.
Because a lot of people are tagging into this whole story that, hey, this whole of your workflow will be replaced and you are an AI company.
It doesn't matter.
It's very surprising to hear that from you, where you are saying that, hey, the AI workflows, all of that, what we're doing is only going to assist an SDR.
It is going to only assist an SDR.
The SDR need to do the discovery, maybe.
Correct. Everything.
Be smart enough to do everything else to get in a conversation going is what you're saying.
The assistant is only going to make the SDR even smarter.
But Ramesh, the reality is that nobody is talking about it out there. Everybody is talking about throwing an agentic workflow built on 100 different ways.
I mean, that's only more pressurizing for the SDRs, right, Sri? Because every SDR is also reading this and saying, oh my God, are they nuts? Really? Can you even replace me? Can you ask the agent to say what's going to be the forecast?
Correct. I think it's the same thing which has been, which a developer also is going through, Ramesh. Right? Not every Cloud Code or OpenAI thing is going to replace a good developer.
Oh, it's hard.
That it takes a lot more things to basically get a code working in production. That's a different day of topic. It looks like it's a very parallel. So now let me ask you this question, right? From what you've seen in the last, let's say, 3 months, I will not go anything beyond that. What do you think? What did your team learn? Right? What did your team learn?
I think more. Let's talk a little bit about what the team unlearned.
Okay.
Right? Because of. A good SDR. If you've got a salesperson in, if you've got an SDR, they've cracked an interview.
Okay.
Right? So you got to give it to them. But when they come in, you always see this
Okay.
whole thing dip.
Okay.
And there are various reasons, right? One is, are you able to unlearn what you've done in the past?
Okay.
So, if in your past job,
Okay.
you've done the research, you've written the emails, you've thought about what should be the email sequence and how you should be doing LinkedIn in parallel. That is an area where you can unlearn.
Okay.
Because the email sequence that you sent was flat. It
Okay.
didn't have the relevance of the conversation. The LinkedIn message that you sent was just a mere connection request, had nothing to do with why you are connecting with them.
Okay.
And the follow-ups weren't there because you were already doing so many activities.
Okay.
So you have to unlearn and challenge the GTM engineer to tell me, hey, these are my tasks. What portion of it can I remove it from my, right? So that's the big unlearning thing. But I think what we've done, or what our SDRs have really learned, is about ensuring that the follow-ups are done immediately after when the call is done. And that's possible because you have an AI assistant to tell you, hey, this is the email, this is the meeting that you had, this is the right, apart from just saying who said who, you're able to map it to the problem and then you're able to send it. That's a big learning.
That's a big learning. Okay.
Right?
So Ramesh, speed is basically what your team is.
Definitely.
Okay. So if you're just flip the other side, right? What mistakes do you think the sales leaders, specifically SDR leaders, are making with AI right now?
I think it's the stack. It is all about trying to tell, hey, I'm already using Claude, I'm already using GPT for this. Use Clay, use Highperformr. That's not the point, right? That's not the point. Leaders should even look at, productivity of an SDR.
Okay.
Instead of asking, hey, how many follow-ups have we done? Right? They didn't come for the meeting, so did we send them a follow-up?
Okay.
Right? Those are nuances we probably left in the last, rather than have you sent them an email. Now, what is the context of the email that we need to send this?
So do you think the leaders are buying tools before even understanding the actual?
Yeah, leaders need to ride the AI wave. Leaders need to ensure that they are on top.
So where do you think? Give us an example of a good example. Like for example, Ramesh, I've seen this. I've heard this from you multiple times, right? So for example, a best use of AI is to be able to find out when to send the email. What is the right time to send an email? I'm not saying the right time, but even for example, a lot of things are like volume driven today. We are using multiple tools, or at least the leaders are buying multiple tools to send emails across the board. I'll give an example. Is other day we've been talking to somebody who's running a automation stack completely end to end, but they blindly send 100 messages on LinkedIn, even without checking how many of them are active on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right. Things are very, very simple.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you have to step back and look at it, right? For example, if I'm an SDR, let's assume that you're giving me and I'm worried about my role today. I'm seeing layoff messages across the board. My role. Am I even training an AI SDR right now? Kind of knowingly, unknowingly. What would you tell me?
I think a salesperson's job is not at risk when you hit the numbers.
Okay.
That's very clear, right? The moment that
scary.
But that has a process.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Now, right at the top of the funnel, I think it's important for us to know. Let's say you're a new SDR.
Okay.
Right? Yes, because of if a poor performance. And what does poor performance mean? Are you following through the activities that you're supposed to do? Okay. Are you able to call maybe 1,000 numbers every day? Okay. Right? That's the first tick mark. And if you're stuck in the past world where you had probably come from and say, no, I cannot because I used to do just 200 calls. Now you're asking me to do 1,000. It's way above. Oh, that's not an area, right? That's a ding.
So you're saying that you should adopt to the
possible.
Leverage you'll get because of AI.
Using AI, absolutely.
Okay. Because if I'm an SDR and I was making 100 calls, in an era where a lot of things were manually done. Now with all of that, like you said, with AI assistant, with a signal-based prioritized account book, with AI research, all of that happening, do you think I should be able to scale up?
You definitely should be able to scale
my calls. Okay, interesting.
Right?
What else?
So that's right at the top of the funnel. The next is, hey, are we having the right, let's say you do this for 30 days. 30 days, right?
Okay.
You do a 20,000 calls, I'm sure anyone will be like, wow, this guy has potential, right? So that's right. The 30 to 60 days, if you have to start getting those meetings in.
Okay.
Right? You have to start getting those meetings, and you cannot be a newbie and say, hey, no, it doesn't matter. You don't have to take a goal, because you've now in the habit of making calls. You will now have conversations.
Okay.
So learn the product.
Learn the product. I mean, in fact, Ramesh, that's I've heard that, from you multiple times. Every time you basically have your team and you talk to the SDR team, you say, hey, how many of them understand a particular workflow?
Absolutely.
Do you think that is very important now?
But that is very important, because that's a great conversation starter.
Okay.
Even when you're talking to a prospect. If I were a high performer,
Okay.
SDR,
Okay.
and the way I reach out to a prospect, hey, the first thing is, most often you get asked, right? Hey, how did you reach out to me?
Okay.
And if you have an answer that actually said, I saw you talking about this actively on LinkedIn,
Okay.
and we are able to identify, that's amazing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But that script cannot be repeated for the next person you call in a standard flow. But
Okay.
if you are using AI to do it today,
Okay.
you will have that available. So, which means you need to know the product very well.
Okay.
Right? So learn the product.
So, Ramesh, you said you definitely have. I think you mentioned 2 or 3 things now, and you're saying that scale, right?
Yep.
Definitely use AI to be able to scale, right?
It's scaling, just not. I mentioned calls, but it also applicable
Across
to
the board.
follow-ups,
Across the
emails,
board.
and everything.
Across the board, right? Second thing, you're saying that, hey, this is an opportunity for learning the product, because until now you said you had very limited time to learn the product.
Correct.
Now you think, hey, better learn the product, understand how the product works, how does it differentiate with your competitor, because everybody is reaching out in different ways. So that is absolutely important.
Correct.
Now, what's the last thing? Let's say if you're to close with 3, right?
3, I think it's the most underrated, but the most valuable skill is follow-ups.
Follow-ups, okay.
Right? Deals fall through the cracks because of lack of follow-up.
Okay.
Right? You would have had an amazing conversation. The prospect would have said, it's great. We are looking at this probably a month from now.
Okay.
A month from now, you would have moved on to a different deal, and you're not
Okay.
following up. You've lost the deal.
Okay.
And we often see that the best SDRs follow up on what's been sent earlier. Right?
Okay.
You may be in a sense of boredom, but that lead
That's
which you probably move to close last is probably the one that can actually give you your first sale as well.
So now, Ramesh, if let's say as a closing thought, right? If this is landing properly, right? Like what have we been trying to say? Because this is contrary to what I think most of the people are talking out in every other forum you can see. We are basically saying the SDR that they are, just relax, nothing is changing.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to be a high performer.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, of course, if you say that, that's also be like a little bit of nonsense, right? If you say nothing is changing, right? So a lot of things are changing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the role changing?
Role hasn't changing at all.
Okay.
The role still remains for you to have a conversation and to get a meeting and get an SQL or whatever they call it.
So is the workflow changing?
Workflow is changing.
Yeah.
Right?
So that is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's
so
very nice.
Yeah. The key takeaway, if we have to put it out, is that hey, the roles are not changing, but the workflow, the way you've been working, I'm sure it's changing.
It's changing.
That's what I think we're talking about.
Correct.
And Ramesh, if I was a leader, I was a sales leader, right, trying to figure this out, what would be the 1 or 2 things I should focus on?
I think first one, I'll repeat this again. Think of that AI SDR not as someone who's competing with you, but like your assistant.
Okay.
Make use of the AI SDR to do the jobs that you probably hate doing or it's boring.
Okay.
Right? Keep the conversations with yourself.
Okay.
Keep the customer conversation. Be greedy about that. But let the assistant update the send follow-up emails, right? Everything that you think was time consuming and you probably forgot to do. So that's one for sure.
Okay.
Second is, I think there's nothing like hitting numbers.
Okay.
Right? You have to look at how you can hit those numbers, be it call volume, be it SQLs, be it meetings, make that effort, and that will definitely be noticed, right? I mean, we are finding as much as we have an AI SDR doing all of this research, we are also finding it difficult to get good SDRs who can continue to, kick ass for us.
Okay. So I think that's a good way to close. I mean, I think if you're an SDR feeling the pressure, I think the fear is definitely for sure. I don't think you should undermine that. But there's an opportunity for the reps, who can evolve fast. I think for sure, because the roles are not changing, and I'm sure people are going to be there calling and connecting and all of that. But the most important thing is that you should understand where to use the AI.
Correct.
You cannot compete. Please don't compete with the AI, but make
Make it
your
an
assistant.
assistant.
Right? And if you're a leader, I think definitely your team needs their assistants for sure. Right. And then I think one takeaway I would take, Ramesh, is that I think the leaders should emphasize on product training.
That's an underrated thing as well.
That's absolutely underrated. Only then you could probably see the result. That's where I would close.
Because I think the training also helps you to personalize the pitch, the conversation. It won't be flat. If you know what the product can actually do and you can show them on the fly, I think that's a great added advantage.
Excellent. I think that's where we'll close it, Ramesh. Anything else? Any final thoughts you want to do?
No final thoughts. So the AI SDR isn't competing with you. The AI SDR is there to assist you. So make use of it as much in this new world, and there's nothing to fear. Keep crushing your goals. See you. Bye.
See you.